Hello viewers, yes, this is Ranjana ma'am and you are watching, yes, it's yours as well as my channel. And the thumbnail says it all. Many of you wanted that I should carry on with Julius Caesar, you all need it for your half yearly. So Act 2 Scene 1, it's a very lengthy scene and I know that I cannot complete it in one lecture and you won't have the patience to listen also to the whole scene at one go. So I'll divide it into 2 parts or rather 3, but I think I'll try to go for 2 parts. So this is a very important scene, Act 2 Scene 1, where Brutus is being misguided by the letters sent by Cassius in a cunning way. And Brutus feels that the Roman people, they want him to act, they want him to do something against Caesar's tyranny. And then the conspirators come and they convince Brutus to join the conspiracy. So let's start. What are we waiting for? And you know what I am waiting for? I am waiting to tell you to subscribe to my channel and also to press the like button. Yes, it is 1:30 at night. So I'm sure you all will understand or give respect to my efforts. So let's start. Act 2 Scene 1. And where does the scene take place? In Brutus's orchard. Enter Brutus. Brutus, what Lucius, ho! I cannot by the progress of the stars give guess how near today. Lucius, I say, I would it were my fault to sleep so soundly. When, Lucius, when? Awake, I say. What, Lucius? So it is midnight, close to midnight or rather midnight, past 12 or something, and Brutus is restless. He has no sleep and he's in his orchard. And his servant, a young boy, Lucius, is fast asleep. So Brutus calls out to him. So he cannot understand looking at the stars. So they did not have watches or clocks at that time. So they would look at the stars and try to guess the time at night and during the day by looking at the sun, the hours. So he cannot guess by the position of the star how long is it from daybreak. That means when will morning come, how far they are from morning. So he is waking up Lucius and Lucius is fast asleep, and Brutus, looking at Lucius, maybe as if he feels a bit jealous or envious how soundly he is sleeping. I wish I could sleep like you. So when he calls out so many times, Lucius finally enters. Called you, my lord, did you call me? Brutus, get me a taper in my study, Lucius. When it is lighted, come and call me here. So he tells Lucius, taper means a candle. So he wants that Lucius should fetch him a candle, where and put it in his study room. And after having lighted that candle, he says, come and tell me that. I will, my lord. So he leaves. Brutus, it must be by his death, and for my part I know no personal cause to spurn him, but for the general. So Brutus has now come to the conclusion that Caesar must die. Why? Because he feels Caesar has not harmed me. Personally, I have no reasons to go against Caesar. But for the general good, that means for the good of the public, I told you Brutus is a great patriot. He loves Rome and the Romans. And for that he is ready to sacrifice even his best friend. So he says, personally he has given me no reason, but still, because of the welfare of the general people, because of the good of the general people, I think Caesar must die. He would be crowned. Yes, the senators are planning to crown him. Only at the festival of Lupercal, Mark Antony had offered him the crown. And Caesar, yes, he had reluctantly pushed it away. So he says, he would be crowned. How that might change his nature, there is the question. So Caesar has not done me any personal harm, but when he becomes the king, it might bring a change in his nature, and that is to be thought. that is to be sincerely thought on, that is to be reflected, that is to be pondered upon. It is the bright day that brings forth the adder, and that craves weary walking. So in a bright sunny morning, the adder is a poisonous snake. So the poisonous snake comes out on a bright sunny morning, and then you need to be careful about your walking. So when Caesar is crowned the king, he becomes like the adder, and he will show his true colors then. Crown him that, and then I grant we put a sting in him, that at his will he may do danger with. So if Caesar is crowned the king, then we are giving him absolute power to harm the common people. And when absolute power is there, then he can do whatever he wishes, that at his will he may do danger with. So when we give him absolute power by making him the king, crowning him the king, he can do whatever he likes. He can abuse his power. The abuse of greatness is when it disjoins remorse from power. So how is power abused? When there is no mercy, when it disjoins mercy. That means when mercy is not there in that power, when it separates from mercy. So absolute power means you become absolutely tyrannical. When you give a person absolute power, as if you give him the license to be tyrannical. And to speak truth of Caesar, I have not known when his affections swayed more than his reason. So he, at this moment, he confesses that I have never seen Caesar being moved by emotions. Rather, he has always been reasonable in his decisions. He has always been reasonable in his acts and decisions. I have never seen him to be affected by emotions. But it is a common proof. But it is a matter of common experience. What? That lowliness is young ambition's ladder, whereto the climber upward turns his face. But when he once attains the upmost round, he then unto the ladder turns his back, looks in the clouds, scorning the base degrees by which he did ascend. So Caesar may, then lest he may prevent. So he says that it has been a common experience that people show themselves to be very noble and full of humility in order to reach great heights. So once they reach the topmost rung of the ladder, then they scorn at the ladder. So they become proud, they become arrogant when they reach the topmost heights of. But while they are in the process of climbing, they are full of humility. They are full of nobleness, full of humility. But once they reach the topmost ring of the ladder, then their behavior changes. Then their humility is replaced by arrogance, pride. So at that time, what does the person do who has reached the topmost rung? Looks in the clouds, scorning the base degrees by which he ascended. So he then scorns the ladder and kicks it down. Why? He has reached the clouds. He doesn't need the ladder anymore. He doesn't need the common people anymore. So he treats them in the most slavish fashion. This has been seen often in the case of other ambitious people. So Caesar might also be the same. So Caesar may also follow the same example. Then lest he may prevent. So in order to stop him from becoming that, let's try to check him. And since the quarrel will bear no color for the thing he is, fashion it thus, that what he is augmented would run to these and these extremities, and therefore think him as a serpent's egg. A very good example. Think him as a serpent's egg, which when hatched would as his kind grow mischievous and kill him in the shell. So he says that at this time Caesar We have no complaint against Caesar's character at this moment. So let us put it in this way, that if Caesar is given absolute power, his nature might change and he might become dangerous for the public in the same way as a snake's egg. The snake's egg is harmless, but once it is hatched and the snake comes out of it, then it becomes dangerous. So Caesar is at this moment like the snake's egg, harmless. But once it hatches, that means once Caesar becomes the king, he will become as dangerous as the snake when it comes out of the egg. And in order to stop this, let us kill him in the shell only. So let us kill him before he is crowned the king. Re-enter Lucius. Lucius again comes. He comes to inform that he has put the taper in the study room and also lit it. So he has come to inform Brutus that, and not only that, he has brought a letter to Brutus which Cassius had, with the help of Cinna, thrown through the window very cleverly. The taper burneth in your closet, sir. Searching for the window for a flint, I found this paper, thus sealed up, and I am sure it did not lie there when I went to bed. Gives him a letter. So he already informs that he has lit the candle in the study room of Brutus, and when he was looking for a flint, nowadays we use matchbox and matchsticks, but in those times they used flint, rubbing two pieces of wood to light the fire, or rather stone or whatever, flint stones, two pieces of flint they would rub in order to spark fire. So he was looking for the flint and looking at the window for the flint, and what did he find? He found a letter, and he is sure that this letter was not there when he had gone to sleep. Brutus, get you to bed again. So you go back to your bed. It is not day. So yes, you don't need to wait for me any longer, because it is not yet day. There is some time before it will be dawn, so you can go and sleep. And then he asks, is not tomorrow, boy, the Ides of March? So isn't tomorrow the Ides of March? He is asking Lucius. Tomorrow the Ides of March. Remember the warning given to Julius Caesar by the soothsayer. Caesar, beware the Ides of March. And tomorrow is the Ides of March, which is dangerous for Caesar. So after this, the conspirators will come and they plan to kill him on the Ides of March. So the soothsayer's warning was right. He had given the right warning. I know not, sir. So Lucius is not aware whether the next day is the Ides of March. Look in the calendar and bring me word. So Brutus gives him a job. Go and look in the calendar and then come and tell me. I will, sir. Brutus, the exhalations whizzing in the air give so much light that I may read by them. So he doesn't need to go to his study room and read the letter. Maybe he is also eager to read it. He doesn't have the patience to go and read it in the study room. He wants to read it here itself. What does the letter contain? Because before this also he has received several letters. So he wants to read it in the light of the stars. So he says the stars which are flashing through the sky, they provide enough illumination to allow me to read the letter. Opens the letter and reads. So all these are Cassius' doing. He has planned everything so well. Brutus, thou sleepest. Awake and see thyself. Shall Rome, etc. Speak, strike, redress. So this is the letter. Brutus, you are asleep. Get up. Rouse yourself and become aware of your powers. Become aware of how much capable you are. Must Rome, etc. Speak, strike, redress. That means as if these letters are coming from several citizens of Rome who are urging Brutus to arise, be aware of his hidden potential of which he is unaware, and to put an end to the tyranny which is in Rome at this moment. There is not much tyranny as they are projecting it to be. Why? Because they want to brainwash Brutus into believing Caesar has not become so tyrannical that he should be killed. Such instigations have been often dropped where I have took them up. So then he feels, I have received such instigating letters earlier also, and I have collected them, picked them up. I have received, this is not the first letter I am receiving. Shall Rome, etc. Then must I piece it out? Shall Rome stand under one man's awe? What Rome? My ancestors did from the streets of Rome the Tarquin drive, when he was called the king. So the Tarquin, this again has a reference in Macbeth. So the Tarquins were of monarchical family, they were tyrannical, and after the rape of Lucius, a noble woman, this Marcus Brutus's ancestor many generations back, Junius Brutus, he had vowed to take revenge, and he had gathered support and driven the Tarquins out of Rome and established democracy. So he says that and maybe that is why the letters are coming to Brutus. Brutus fashions it thus, that maybe the letters are coming to me because it was my ancestor who had established democracy, and they want me to do something to stop again monarchy in Rome. They want me to stop monarchy in Rome in the same way as my ancestor had done. He had abolished monarchy, and that is why maybe they want me to act. My ancestors did from the streets of Rome the Tarquin drive when he was called a king. So when the Tarquin was the king, actually it was a family of Tarquins, and the Tarquin was the king and his son was the wicked fellow, and actually the son was responsible for bringing down of the Tarquins because of his villainous act. So when he was called a king, speak, strike, redress. So he is thinking, pondering on what the letter could mean. Speak, strike, redress. Am I entreated to speak and strike? So do they want that I should speak? I should give my voice. I should try to bring about a change in the current state of Rome. O Rome, I make this promise. If the redress will follow, thou receivest thy full petition at the hand of Brutus. So then he is calling upon his Rome. By Rome he just doesn't mean Rome, his country, he also means his countrymen. He feels that my countrymen, they want that I should do something for them. So I make a promise that if it is possible for me to bring about a reform or a change in Rome, I will try to do it. I will try to do whatever is possible in order to bring a change in Rome. Re-enter Lucius. Sir, March is wasted 15 days. Yes. So it is the Ides of March. So tomorrow, 15th of March, he assures this. Knocking within, the conspirators have come. Brutus, it is go. Good. Yeah, it's good. Go to the gate. Somebody knocks. So he orders Lucius to go and bring the people who are knocking at the gate. Exit Lucius. Since Cassius first did wet me against Caesar, I have not slept. Between the acting of a dreadful dream, this line is very important, and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. The genius and the mortal instruments are then in council, and the state of man, like to a little kingdom, suffers then the nature of an insurrection. This part is very important. So Brutus tells that right from the time when Cassius had instigated me against Caesar, had filled my mind with the doubts related to Caesar, I have been restless. I have spent sleepless nights. So the whole interval between the planning, between the suggestion of a time and the execution of it. Suppose I plan to go on a trip, I plan it today, and the trip is 7 days later. So the interim period, the period in between. So in the same way, a plan to do away with Caesar and the execution of the plan, this period is very dangerous. This period is very difficult to bear. It is like a nightmare or a horrible dream. Why? You are planning to undertake a dangerous task. What if you fail? What will happen? So these thoughts will be bugging you, troubling you, and that is why when Cassius had instigated Brutus against Caesar, since then he has sleepless nights. He has been unable to sleep. The genius and the mortal instruments are then in council. So the mental capabilities or the mental faculties of a person and his physical strength, they are in a state of conflict. The mind wants to do something, the body wants to refrain from it. And the state of man, like to a little kingdom, suffers then the nature of an insurrection. So the man's mind seems to be confused. The man's mind is like a small kingdom which is threatened by a rebellion. So the mind tries to say, oh, I'll murder Caesar, or I'll join in the conspiracy to murder Caesar, and the body doesn't allow you to do it. No, it is not done. So there is a rebellion. The mind doesn't want to follow the orders of the body, or the body doesn't want to. The mind is the kingdom, so the body doesn't want to follow the orders of the mind. Mind gives the orders, body follows. But there is a rebellion, and the body doesn't want to listen to the orders given by the mind. Re-enter Lucius. Sir, it's your brother Cassius at the door. So Cassius is not a brother, he is a brother-in-law of Brutus. So Cassius is at the door, he has come to the house. Who doth desire to see you? And Cassius wants to see you. Is he alone? No, sir, there are more with him. So Cassius has brought the other conspirators along with him. Do you know them? No, sir. Their hats are plucked about their ears, and half their faces buried in their cloaks, that by no means I may discover them by any mark of favor. Though the conspirators are very clever. See how they have come, so that they might not be identified by others. So how have they hidden their appearance? Only Cassius, because Brutus is relative. Cassius is Brutus's brother-in-law. He has revealed his identity, but not the others. They have pulled down their hats up to their ears and the cloaks which they have worn. So they have hidden their faces so that Lucius can in no way identify them. Brutus, let them enter. So Lucius leaves. They are the faction. So they are the group of the conspirators. O conspiracy, shamest thou to show thy dangerous brow by night, when evils are most free? Oh, then by day where wilt thou find a cavern dark enough to mask thy monstrous visage? So he understands these are the conspirators who have, because Cassius must be telling this to others also, and he must have formed a group of followers around him. So he is as if calling upon conspiracy. Conspiracy is being personified here. So he is calling upon conspiracy and telling, conspiracy, in the darkness of the night also you are ashamed to show your face. That is why you have hid your faces with the hat and the cloaks. So if in the darkness, when it is very difficult to identify a person, you have hid your face in this way, then what will you do during daytime? In which cave will you go and hide your face during daytime if you are ashamed to show your face at night only? Seek non-conspiracy, hide it in smiles and affability. So he says that don't seek for anything, don't try to hide your face only, but disguise your feelings in smile. whatever is going on in your mind, don't try to show it on your face. Be always appear cheerful, a smiling face. So hide it in smiles and affability. So appear gentle, affability, appear gentle and smiling, so that no one guesses what is going on in your mind. Your mind is having murderous thoughts, but let not people guess it. So there is a similarity between Macbeth when his wife tells him to hide his feelings regarding the murder of Duncan. For if thou path thy native semblance on, not Erebus itself were dim enough to hide thee from prevention. So he says, because if you go by your natural appearance, then even Erebus means hell. Hell is also not dark enough to conceal you. So don't try to make an effort only to hide your face. Rather disguise your feelings and in disguise put on smiles and gentleness in your behavior, so that no one suspects you. Enter the conspirators: Cassius, Casca, Decius, Cinna, Metellus, Cimber and Trebonius. Cassius: I think we are too bold upon your rest. Good morrow, Brutus, do we trouble you? So Cassius is the brother-in-law, so he has brought all these people to him. So he says that, yes, I think we are disturbing your sleep. Are we a trouble to you? And good morning. So after 12 they consider it the next day. After 12 o'clock at night, the next day starts. So that is why he wishes Brutus good morning and says, are we troubling you? Are we bothering you? I have been up this hour, awake all night. So no, you are not bothering me. I have not been asleep. I was awake up till now. Know I these men that come along with you? So are these people who have come along with you. Do I know them? Why? Because their faces are still hidden. Cassius: yes, every man of them, and no man here but honors you. And everyone doth wish you had but that opinion of yourself which every noble Roman bears of you. So Cassius says, yes, you know all of them. And these, each one of them, they hold you in great esteem. Your name is very honorable to them. And all of them are having this opinion. All of them wish that you also have the same opinion of yourself which every Roman has about you. So you should not underestimate yourself. What every Roman feels about you, you should also become aware of it and act accordingly. And then he introduces, this is Trebonius. He is welcome hither. This is Decius Brutus. He is welcome too. This Casca, this Cinna, this Metellus, Cimber. So he introduced them one by one. They are all welcome. What watchful cares do interpose themselves betwixt your eyes and night? So Brutus welcomes all the band of conspirators, and he is asking Cassius that what is it that has kept you from sleep betwixt your eyes and the night? That means what worries are troubling you that you are not asleep at this time of the night? Cassius: shall I entreat a word? So, may I have a word with you? And Brutus and Cassius, they talk among themselves in whispers. Decius: here lies the east. Doth not the day break here? So Decius Brutus, pointing out to the eastern side, says, doesn't the day make its emergence? You know the sun rises in the east. So that is where the day breaks. Night ends and day breaks from the eastern side. Casca: no. So he shows some side and says, isn't this the eastern side from where the day breaks? So Casca is a blunt fellow and he says no. Cinna: oh pardon sir, it doth. And you grey lines that yawn, and yon grey lines that fret the clouds are the messengers of the day. So Cinna says, please sir, forgive me, but the first rays of the dawn on the sky, they show that morning is approaching. Those slight streaks of light on that side, they show that the morning is coming. Casca. So he is becoming a bit witty now. You shall confess that you both are deceived. That means Cinna and Decius, they are of the same opinion. They are pointing towards the eastern side only and saying it is the east. But Casca begs to differ. Why? He says, you shall confess that you both are deceived. Here, as I point my sword, the sun arises, which is a great way growing on the south, weighing the youthful season of the year. Some 2 months hence, up higher towards the north, he first presents his fire, and the high east stands as the capital directly here. So Casca has something to confuse Cinna and Decius Brutus. He tells, you will have to admit, once I finish speaking, you will have to admit that both of you are wrong. That is not the eastern side from which day breaks. So my sword is pointing towards a particular way, and this is the way from where the sun rises. And yes, going by the months of the year, the sun keeps on rising a further to the south, and in 2 months time the sun will rise in the east, a little farther north than it does now. So every 2 months the sun keeps on shifting its position, and the east is where the capital stands. So the eastern side is where the capital stands. Why does he say this? Because it will be a new morning. In the capital, they have planned to murder Caesar. They plan to murder Caesar in the capital today. So when Caesar dies, it will be a new morning for Rome. So the capital is on the eastern side from where the sun will rise. Brutus, give me your hands all over one by one. So he is shaking hands with all of them. And let us swear our resolution. So Cassius wants that all of them, they should take an oath of secrecy. No, not an oath. If not the face of men, the sufferance of our soul, the time's abuse. If these be motives weak, break off betimes. So he says, no, we don't need an oath. So earlier in Rome, the people were so truthful, so noble, so honest that their words could be depended upon. It was said that the Roman word of honor, if they gave a word that I will do this, they did not need an oath to give strength to it. Whatever they said, they did. So that is what Brutus says. He is a man of honor. And he says, we don't need an oath to carry out our plans. So if the look on the faces of the troubled Romans, if the fear in our own minds regarding the tyranny of Caesar and the bad times which is at present in Rome, if these are not sufficient causes to bring us together, then let us break off and go back to our beds. We don't need to take an oath. Let us give up our plan just now and let us retire to our beds. So he doesn't want an oath. Cassius is more practical. In those days, oaths were very valued. You suffer perjury if you break an oath. That means you will go to hell. People believed in the concept of heaven and hell. So in those days it was believed that if you break an oath, you will go to hell. And that is why even if you don't like, once you take an oath, you will stick to it. And that is why Cassius wants to safeguard their secrecy, and he wants that all of us, we should take an oath that we will stay by each other. But Brutus says no. If the troubled faces of the Romans, if our own fears and if the situation in Rome, if they are not potent causes to stay together, unite ourselves, then let us cancel our project and get back to our beds. And every man hence to his idle bed. So Let high-sighted tyranny range on till each man drop by lottery. And high-sighted tyranny range on. So he wants that now let us go back to bed and allow high-sighted tyranny to carry on. So let it go on unchecked. They are planning to check the tyranny of Caesar, but if you all think we don't have powerful cause, enough cause to go for this act of killing Caesar and not to bind ourselves with an oath, so let us leave and go back to our beds and let tyranny go on without any control, unlimited tyranny, let it go on in Rome till each man dies. So in a lottery, what happens? You pick up a name and you announce the name. So in this way, let a person's name be announced and he drops down dead. So let us wait for our turns to lie down dead. But if these words, I am sure they do, bear fire enough to kindle cowards and to steal with valor the melting spirits of women, then countrymen, what need we any spur but our own cause to prick us to redress? So he says, but the causes which I have mentioned, the troubled faces of the Roman people and all the causes which I have mentioned, if they are powerful in themselves, if they have enough passion, if they have enough heat in themselves, I am sure there is enough, these causes are strong enough to make even cowards feel powerful. Means it will urge, even the causes are such that they will even make cowards strong, and even weak women will be filled with courage. And I don't think we need a cause to bind us other than this, that we are citizens of Rome. What other bond than secret Romans that have spoke the word and will not palter? So we don't need an oath. We are Romans, and once we have spoken a word, we will not go back on it. And what other oath than honesty to honesty engaged? And we don't need an oath also. What oath do we need other than this feeling that we are all honorable men and we are resolute to carry on the action which we have planned, and we are ready to sacrifice our lives also in trying to do it, that this shall be or we will fall for it. So this will happen, we will murder Caesar, we will assassinate him, or in the process give our lives, sacrifice our lives for the sake of Rome. Swear priests and cowards and men cautelous, old feeble carrions and such suffering souls that welcome wrongs, unto bad causes swear, such creatures as men doubt, but do not stain the even virtue of our enterprise, nor the insuppressive metal of our spirits, to think that or our cause or our performance did need an oath. So he says, who are the people who swear? The priests swear. Yeah, because many times priests tell lies, so priests need to swear. And cowards need to swear. Cunning people, they need to swear. Aged people, they need to take an oath. Weak or the unfortunate people who are habituated to being treated badly, and those people who accept insult without raising a protest, they rather invite insults. So these weak people or people who are infirm in their purpose, they should swear for bad causes. These are the people who need to swear, because people might doubt them. Oh, they are not strong enough. How can we trust them? So in order to make them trust you, you need to swear, but we don't need to swear. And our cause is such a righteous cause. It is a noble cause. So we don't need to swear. If we swear, then our nobility and the spirit and our irresistible spirit, they get blamed, they get tarnished. And to think that we need a cause to carry out our plans. When every drop of blood that every Roman bears and nobly bears is guilty of a several bastardy, if he do break the smallest particle of any promise that had passed from him. So he says that no true Roman will ever break words. The smallest part of the promise which he has made, no true Roman will ever break it. Why? Because otherwise he will be blamed for being a bastard. He will be blamed as a bastard. If you are true Roman, you will carry out what you have said. You don't need to take an oath. And if you break it, you are not your father's son, you are a bastard. You are not a true Roman. Cassius, but what of Cicero? Shall we sound him? I think he will stand very strong with us. So Cassius asked Brutus's opinion as to what they would do about Cicero. Cicero, remember? Ferret eyes when he was being questioned in the Capitol. So he is quite a strong Roman. So Cassius is of the opinion, let's include him in our plans. But Brutus, no. Casca also supports him. Let us not leave him out. Cinna, no, by no means. So all of them, they are agreeing to what Cassius is saying. They want Cicero to be included. But see how much Brutus is important to these conspirators. So whatever Brutus says, they will again agree. Metellus, oh, let us have him for his silver hairs. Silver hairs is sign of experience. But nowadays, though, even young people have silver hairs. In the past, silver hairs or white hairs means that yes, you are a senior person and you have the experience of the world on your back. So, oh, let us have him for his silver hairs, will purchase us a good opinion and buy men's voices to commend our deeds. It shall be said, his judgment ruled our hands. Our youths and wildness shall no wit appear, but all be buried in his gravity. So Metellus Cimber also wants that Cicero should be included in the plan because of his age. He is a senior, so let us include him, because when the people see that he is along with us, so they will approve of our actions. And then they will also feel that since Cicero is in this plan, though we are young, that means the conspirators, all of them are young fellows. Decius Brutus, of course, is young, and the others are also young. Even Metellus Cimber is young. So he says that it is often thought young people carry out rash actions. So our rashness and our youth, he will be a cover to it. If he stands in the first, in front of us, he will cover up our youthness and rashness. His wisdom will hide our rashness and youth. But Brutus doesn't want to include Cicero. Oh, name him not, and let us not break with him, for he will never follow anything the other men begin. So what is Brutus's reason for not including Cicero? He says that don't talk about him. We should not talk to him only, because he will never join something which he has not started. That means he always will join something which he has started, but he will not join something which has been started by others. This conspiracy has been started by Cassius, so he wouldn't want to join it. So don't only go and reveal to him the plan, because it will become dangerous once he knows the plan and he is not ready to join. Cassius, then leave him out. See how they obey Brutus, how they are ready to please him. Indeed, he is not fit. This Casca only had agreed when Cassius had said, and now he is ready to differ. Decius, shall no man else be touched but only Caesar? So no one else will be killed other than Caesar? Won't we kill any other person apart from Caesar? Cassius, Decius, well urged. I think it is not meet Mark Antony, so well beloved of Caesar, should outlive Caesar. we shall find of him a shrewd contriver, and you know his means. If he improve them, may well stretch so far as to annoy us all, which to prevent, let Antony and Caesar fall together. This is Cassius's reason, and he is very practical. He is very practical. If only Brutus had listened to Cassius, they wouldn't have suffered the heavy defeat at the end. And also, after the killing of Caesar, Brutus had impressed the public so well, but giving him permission to speak at Caesar's funeral was the second mistake of Brutus. First mistake is he allows Antony to live, whereas Cassius had proposed that Mark Antony should be killed along with Caesar. Why? He says that Caesar loves Mark Antony dearly, so if he is allowed to live after Caesar's death, he will again plot to take revenge on us. And we know that he is an expert in carrying out, he is a great influencer, and he will be a source of danger for all of us. He will prove to be a great danger for us. So, in order to stop him from becoming dangerous from us, it's good that we make him follow Caesar. Let both of them die. So, this is, I will stop here because I told you it's a very lengthy scene and you all must be getting bored. It's already 45 minutes. This video is already 45 minutes. So, I'll continue the next part in the next video. Okay. So, wait till then, and many of you might be having not the full in your half yearly exams. So, yes, and bye for the time being, and wait for the second one also to be uploaded. And in the meantime, don't forget,